We're gonna go over the best exercises to improve your explosiveness while using a band, and we're gonna start right now. What's up everybody, it's Dane from GarageStrength.com. If this is your first time to the channel and you're interested in becoming a better athlete, you wanna get more explosive, you wanna become a freak, make sure that you like, you subscribe, and you ring that notification bell so we can help you become a beast. So some of the big problems behind doing explosive work is if you're traveling or if you're in a tight spot, maybe you don't have a huge gym like we have here, is that one, you don't really know what you can do because you don't know what plyometric work you can do. You don't know what band work you can do. You don't know what you can do in that small area. But first, we've got to make sure that we're warming up, right? We've got to make sure that we're feeling good, that we're feeling nice and limber. And when we're using a band, what my favorite warm-ups is, if I'm gonna put these right around my feet, okay? Now I've got some good tension, okay? I got good tension that I can put into the band. And the first thing that I like to do is just a little bit of good mornings here, get my hamstrings to wake up. And the big key factor is that when we're talking about being explosive, when we're talking about being fast, we've got to think about hip extension, okay? So I want to loosen up my lower back, I want to loosen up my glutes, I want to loosen up my hamstrings. And when I'm doing that, I even want to think about my toes driving into the floor, okay? Just a little drive into the floor. And if I can do 2 or 3 sets of 15 to 20 reps of good mornings, now I'm gonna have that good tension in my hips. I'm gonna feel everything start to extend, and I'm gonna be nice and mobile. And then I wanna get here, ooh, I'm a little tight in my shoulders. And if I can just pop in some nice, easy overhead squats, okay? Now we're getting a little bit more of knee extension, warming up. I'm warming up that upper back. When I'm warming up that upper back, I wanna be squeezing in my gut. So I like to think about right here, I've got good tension in my hands, and I'm pressing through my belly button almost out of my shirt, okay? So I wanna think here, and then drive up fast. So if I go 2 or 3 sets of 10 to 12 on the overhead squats, 2 to 3 sets of 15 to 20 on the good mornings, I'm gonna get nice and loose, nice and mobile. And that's gonna help prepare me for these explosive movements. So that first key exercise, when I'm really starting to get loosened up and I'm starting to try and do some explosive work, is I wanna do something unilateral, okay? And it's going to be difficult, but not extremely hard. One of the big things behind using a band is that if I'm doing a lunge or anything along those lines, that band can potentially help me have a little bit more of a load, and then I have to react a little bit quicker. So my first exercise, and we've got handles here on our POWERLASTICs, available at GarageStrength.com. I can put this wherever I want. I can put it right around, we've got a T-bar here, we could put it around a sled, we could put it around a barbell, wherever we wanna do. Put this around the neck so we can sit here, do a little drop lunge and drive back up, okay? Hit, drive back up. And this is gonna be really good if we're talking about running backs, trying to change direction, if we have somebody who struggles with deceleration, if we've got a long jumper, we can do something where here, and this, when we're pulling in, it's gonna be a heavier load, okay? So we're here, we gotta absorb and drive back up. That's gonna really help with our acceleration, force absorption. Think about running back cutting all over the place. Think about a basketball player planting and cutting. Drop lunges, 5 sets of 3 on each leg. It's gonna really help improve your explosiveness. Okay, so that next awesome exercise with our POWERLASTICs is, again, we're gonna wrap this around our feet, okay? Get this hooked up. And this is a movement that I stole directly from Tom Walsh, multiple-time world champ, Olympic bronze medalist in 2016. And one of the things I saw in Doha in 2019 was I wanted to see how he warmed up. I wanted to see what makes him one of the fastest, most explosive athletes in the world. And as a shot putter, he is an absolute powerhouse. So if we could take somebody like Tom Walsh, get him on a football field, he would be an absolute force. That's why he's one of the best shot putters in the world. But one of his warm-ups was he would sit here, and so if we can think about it, as we ground, right, the band is pulling us back down, and then we're gonna drive up, and we have to work a little bit harder on our hip extension, on our knee extension, and then as we ground, we have to absorb that energy, we have to absorb that force, and react quickly. So it's a really, really simple movement. You can do 5 or 6 sets, 2 to 3 reps, 2 to 4 reps, somewhere in there. It's simple to do. You're gonna feel explosive. It's gonna help with your coordination, and when your rate of coordination is high, you're gonna be a powerhouse. Okay, so one of my favorite exercises to help with that first step, basketball, basketball, football, soccer, anything, right, is a banded sprinter start. And the reason why I like this is it forces you to really feel your entire body and how you're going to try to accelerate, okay? So it's the first step and it's all about acceleration. So I like to do it from a unilateral perspective, which is why it's gonna help with that dynamic trunk control, which is gonna help with your agility and all things along those lines. So if we're here, we wanna be almost in that start position here, okay? And we're gonna go drive. We wanna drive rapidly and hold, okay? So that's nice and easy. And I want that good plantar flexion, good hip extension, good knee extension. And now I have my hands out. That's gonna force me to control my gut. So I'm here, boom, okay, forward. And we wanna think that real quick, forward, forward, forward. Here, boom. And so one of the best parts behind this is that if you've got an athlete who struggles with one side or the other, you can really cater to that. So if I'm here, okay, and the big key factor is this leg is that transition leg. So now I'm going on my opposite side. My right side actually tends to be my weaker side when we're talking about locomotion. So again, if I'm here, okay, and ideally I'd have this back a little bit more almost like I'm sprinting. So I'm here, and I'm gonna feel that. My whole goal is that I wanna feel that tension from my hand all the way through my gut, all the way in through my hips into that knee extension and that plantar flexion. That's gonna help with that start. With that first step, it's also gonna help you with cutting and accelerating. Okay, the next exercise that I absolutely love for acceleration, for agility, is gonna be a side band jump. Now, with our power elastics, you can either wrap this right around here, okay, like that, or you could take this around here. You could take the band and you could put it right around here. It doesn't matter. Now, this thing's a little finicky, it's a little bit, it rattles a little. And another thing is that if this tension is too much, we can also put this through and you just hold this side, okay? So there's a lot of different aspects that you can do. But one of the things that I like to do is that if I have an athlete here, right? They're gonna have this fully extended. They're gonna have the band with full tension, and that tension's gonna be forcing you to pull back in, right? So this is forcing me to pull back in. If I'm just standing here, I can feel my gut working. I can feel my right glute working, okay? So I'm gonna go here, boom, and hold, boom. And I wanna see that when I plant, I drive and I extend as much as possible. So this speed here is gonna force this, and I wanna hold this nice and tight. Okay, so if you can think about a running back who has to hit a big jump cut and go, or if you're a basketball player and you're crossing somebody up, this exercise is phenomenal. You wanna do both sides. I like to say you can do this twice a week. You could pair this with side band walks. You could pair this with Cossack squats. Anything that's gonna help with that lateral movement. I wanna think good speed, good footwork, plant, go rapidly, hold that tension in the gut. Don't let this turn you all over the place. Hold that good tension, focus on the hip action, make sure that your ankles are nice and mobile and they can cut. And again, twice a week, 5 sets, 4 on each leg. Full disclosure, I haven't done a single skater squat yet, but this is my all-time favorite unilateral explosive exercise. And I like to pair this movement with anything like into single leg bounds, into stair jumps, anything along those lines. Now, it's extremely difficult. It's extremely hard to do. Quiz starts with this. We'll use skater squats with this. So one of those big key factors, and I'm even gonna do my bad leg first. So you're gonna see how pathetic this is, but as I start to warm up, you're gonna see it's excellent, right? And so with the depth that we wanna hit, we wanna get to a position where we're about, what, 2 to 3 feet away. We got the band, you can hook the band to anything, squat rack, dumbbell rack, barbell, whatever you want. A chair, anything, doorway. Here, okay? I'm gonna be leaning forward a little, so this is gonna help with my acceleration too. I'm here, I come down, I wanna keep this back foot up, come up and hold. Okay, so I can feel that, it's a little off balance. I'm gonna be here, come down to that skater right here, boom, a hold. And now this position, so this is where we're talking about acceleration, transitioning into that max speed, that max velocity. So I'm here, come down, boom. And you can see that's a struggle for me right now. I haven't done these yet this morning. So now this is my better leg, but I still gotta warm up because I'm old. So it'll be here. I wanna hold, ideally I wanna get to this hip lock position, hands overhead, but hip lock here. I wanna come down, boom. Okay, left side's much better for me. Boom. And we wanna hold pause at the top. Boom. Okay, so you hit this skater squat. If you're a wrestler, if you're a basketball player, if you're a running back, if you're a lineman, you're in that very deep position. My hips are lower and I'm explosive out of that position. I'm gonna dominate my opponent. So think about a wrestler, if they're here, that's gonna help them take a better shot. Lineman, if you get nice and deep, your hips, your pads are playing a little bit lower. Now you're gonna dominate your opponent from that unilateral perspective. On top of that, holding that hip lock, that's gonna help your dynamic trunk control when you're running at max speed. Okay, so use these 5 exercises to try to improve your bilateral and unilateral explosiveness. Think about that agility as well, especially those side band jumps. If you have problems with unilateral explosiveness, use those skater squats, get into that hip lock. You're gonna feel that dynamic trunk control start to come into play. You're gonna feel that hip really start to do what it's supposed to do when you're running at max speed. If you need bands, if you need something that's gonna help you become a better athlete, head over to garagestrength.com. You can pick up our POWERLASTIC bands. If you want to be more explosive, click on the link down below. Head over to garagestrength.com, pick up our vertical jump manifesto today. If you want more content behind jumping and explosiveness, click on this card right here. Until next time, guys, peace.